Stephen King here again. How are yous? All right. Last we talked about generating revenue and income outside of the primary business that you're building. And that's very important, we all know. Today, though, we want to talk about problem solving, coming up with solutions for challenges, because they are going to confront us in any aspect of life. We always have to solve some problem. But when rendering services to people, being in business, it happens. And sometimes it happens abruptly, like, oh my God, what is this? And we have to come up with an answer. So today I want to talk about a time that I had to solve a challenge or problem. So I go to people's houses, go to their workplaces, and perform fitness services. Well, I got to Arita's house, 6:30 a.m. session. And on this day, she opened the door and she felt like crap. She said, Stephen, I'm on my cycle and I feel like crap. I don't know what I can do, but I feel like crap. And for a second I was thinking, man, she trusts that I can come up with something. She's on her cycle. I'm a man. I've never had a cycle before, but she entrusts that I can help her in some way. I mean, that's a lot of trust in someone, I think. Whew. So I had to think for a second. I'm still standing in the front door. I'm thinking, okay, what happens when women have cycles? I know that they have more fluid in the midsection of the body. And I'm figuring because there's more fluid, there's probably more weight on the legs. Knees might be tight, the hips might be tight, the back might be sore. And I'm thinking, what could be done about this? Shucks. I had to think about this pretty deeply, you know. I didn't want her to waste an hour with me. I wanted to give her something that was going to benefit her. So I thought to myself, her muscles are probably tight from the extra weight that she's carrying. So let's just stretch the muscles. And that's what I offered. I said, Arita, I'm going to stretch your muscles today, and we're going to relax you and loosen you up so that you feel better. Now, I had never done it before, but I just figured this may help. So I just had her lay down on an exercise mat on her back, and I proceeded to stretching her leg muscles, calf muscles, the back of the thighs, the front of the thighs, the inner thighs, outer thighs, just as many muscles as I could think of stretching. And I took my time, just slowly stretched them. We talked and chatted while I was doing this, and just so that the time could go by gracefully. And I did not rush to stretch. You know, sometimes people stretch for 10 seconds and say, oh yeah, stretch muscles. No, I held these stretches for 2 minutes, 3 minutes at a time, just so that they could really elongate and relax and feel better. Just had her lay back and ease out and let me do all the work for you. When I finished, I had her stand up, and I wanted her to see what her body felt like, because laying down, she couldn't tell. And I wanted to see what her body felt like afterwards. She got up, she walked around the house a little bit, and she came back in and said, boy, you know you the I don't even feel like I'm on my cycle. God dang, I feel good. God damn, I feel good. Man, whoo, you know you the shit. You know you the shit. I was blushing like crazy because I had no idea if this was going to work or not. And she's like praising me and praising me repeatedly. Boy, you know you the shit. You know you the shit. Oh my God. It was hilarious because I was hoping that it made her feel good and feel better. I just didn't want her to waste an hour of a session with me. So I was hoping that I could benefit her in some way by stretching the muscles. So it turned out that she felt incredible. Like when I got to the front door, like I said, I had no idea. Like, what the hell do I do if someone was on the cycle? I don't know what that feels like. But I just had to use my imagination and try to put myself in her shoes and walk in them, right? Afterwards, I realized that this could be a service that I could offer to clients. I just need to get a little better with it, a little more polished, a little more knowledgeable. So, as a personal trainer, that's not the first thing we do is just tons of stretching. That's what not most personal trainers do that. So this was like 2006, 2007, before the internet had all of the information on it that it has now. So I went to the library and checked out 2 books on stretching. How to stretch, how long to stretch, the benefits of stretching. And so I went through these books and it showed the muscles and how to stretch them. And I stretched myself. I stretched as many muscles in my body as possible to see what I felt like afterwards, to see what it felt like to stretch that muscle and how stretching that muscle affected another body part or another muscle, because I wanted to expand my repertoire of services. The way that she was praising me, oh my God. So, yes, I stretched my muscles and it did feel good. And I actually started to stretch a little bit more after that for whenever I would have different kinds of tightness or discomfort in the body. So I started to use this with other fitness clients more. And it tended to help them at different times. This stretching service, it started to help people with a lot of different conditions that they may have. I remember meeting with a client, her name was Diane, and her back was hurting her. And she called down and didn't know if she should still come. She was thinking about going to the doctor. And I told her, come on down, we'll do something about it. We'll work on it in some way. I stretched her muscles for her. Because by this time I knew that the back gets tight. Sometimes tight leg muscles affect the back. So I stretched her leg muscles and a few other muscles. And at the end of the session, she felt really good. She told me, Stephen, thank you so much for this, because I got 5 children, and when do I get to go to the doctor? When would I have the time to do that? Had I gone to the doctor, she said, well, had she gone to the doctor, they probably would have given her muscle relaxers, but that has side effects, has you drowsy and things like that. So she thanked me profusely because this was at her workplace. Sometimes Trista would have a cold or allergies. And sometimes Kathy would have bronchitis. But this gets tight and the circulation isn't as good as it could be. And so I would come in and I would stretch the muscles for them, stretch the upper body, the front torso muscles. And it would just release all of that tightness and congestion, and the circulation would work better and they would feel better. And I remember Kathy telling me, Steve, I feel better then when I take the actual bronchitis medicine, this really opens me up. And I would, like I say, hold these stretches for long periods of time so that it could really elongate and have a long lasting effect. It's patient work, I tell you, but it helps the clients to feel so much better. And they both would celebrate how good they felt and didn't have to go to the doctor's office or anything like that. Oh man, one more example. A guy named Darren, he had gout in one foot, plantar fasciitis in another foot. And he was laid up on the couch for like a week. And I didn't want to tell him, let's meet, because I didn't want him to think that I was trying to sell my services and make money off of him. But I knew that I could help him a little. He eventually came and met with me like 2 weeks later after being on the couch, and I stretched his leg muscles, lower leg muscles, thigh muscles, because all the muscles affect each other. And then after stretching some of the leg muscles and rear foot muscles, I massaged some of the toes for the gout. And my God, I don't get too deep, but gout is when uric acid forms and it crystallizes, and you just have to get the circulation going, and then you can massage it and flush it out of the system. But anyway, after that 45 1 hour minute session, he felt amazing. And that was another client that did not have to cancel a session because they felt bad. So that's what happened with the stretching service. My clients knew that if they had something like a cold, if they ever had a body ache or a sore shoulder or sore this or sore that or whatever, bronchitis, they still didn't have to cancel sessions. And that way, I didn't have to miss a session for that day or that week because I had a service that my clients knew would make them feel better. You see, so sometimes we will be confronted with a challenge like abruptly right in front of you, like no prior warning. And that's when we have to use these, we have to come up with a solution for it, right? We may not be able to cure everything, but we can at least ease the person in some way, make them relax a little bit more and feel better and stay in business. So another talk on creating a life that you want to live. These are some of the details, some of the in-betweens on how to create that life, but we have to get out of the comfort zone. Remember, we only live once, so we gotta make the most of this one life that we live here. We help others, help ourselves, and keep feeling good. Take great care. Stephen King.